wanted to be a stay-at-home partner. Now she won't cook or clean, and I told her to get a job. We made a deal before marriage. Now she says it's unfair that I expect her to stick to it. I quit my job to live off my savings, and now my wife says I'm the one doing nothing. When my wife and I first started dating, one of the biggest conversations we had early on was about lifestyle and expectations. I've always been very clear about who I am. I've worked hard my entire life, built my career from the ground up, and lived below my means. Since my early 20s, I've saved more than half of what I earned. Over time, that discipline paid off. I built a solid financial foundation, paid off my house, and created a portfolio that could eventually support me without needing to work forever. She came from a different background. In her previous marriage, she had always been a stay-at-home wife. She told me she genuinely enjoyed that role, taking care of the home, cooking, keeping things organized. She didn't frame it as something she was forced into. She said it gave her a sense of purpose and structure. So naturally, we talked about what our life would look like if we got married. She asked me directly if I would be okay with her not working. I told her I was fine with that, but I was also honest about what that meant to me. If I'm the one bringing in the money, then I expect the home to be taken care of. Not perfectly, not obsessively, but reasonably clean. And I'd like to come home to home-cooked meals most of the time. She agreed, completely. At the time, it felt balanced, fair. We got married, and for a while, things were exactly as we discussed. She cooked regularly, kept the house in good shape, and we both seemed comfortable in our roles. Then a few months ago, everything changed. We took a trip to Colombia. It started as just a vacation, but we both fell in love with the place. The lifestyle, the pace, the cost of living. It made me seriously reconsider my situation. I realized I didn't need to keep working at the same intensity I had for years. After running the numbers, I saw that it was actually possible. Between my savings, investments, and rental income from my house back home, we could live comfortably without me working. It felt like the kind of opportunity people spend their whole lives chasing. So we made the decision. I left my job, we moved to Colombia, we started a new chapter. At first, everything felt exciting. New place, new routines, less stress. But after about 2 months, I started noticing something that didn't sit right with me. She stopped doing the things she used to do. Cooking became rare. Cleaning became inconsistent. At first, I thought maybe she was just adjusting, getting used to a new country, a new environment. I didn't say much, but then it became a pattern. When I brought it up, her response surprised me. She said, "Food here is so cheap. What's the point of cooking?" That hit me harder than I expected. Because to me, it wasn't just about the cost of food. It was about the agreement we had. It was about the roles we both agreed to take on in our relationship. I told her calmly that I still preferred home-cooked meals, that this was something we had talked about before getting married, and then I said something that clearly crossed a line for her. I told her that if she didn't want to cook and clean anymore, then she should consider getting a job, and I could just hire someone locally to handle those things instead. It would cost a few $100s a month, and it would solve the issue. From my perspective, it was a practical solution. From her perspective, it was an insult. She got upset immediately. She said I was being unfair, that I was reducing her role to just chores, that I didn't understand how difficult it would be for her to find a job in a country where wages are low. I suggested she could look for remote work, like I used to do. That made things worse. Then she said something that really shifted the argument. She said it wasn't fair that I expected her to cook and clean while I just sit around, and that's where I felt misunderstood. Because from my point of view, the lifestyle we're living right now exists because of years, decades of effort I put in before we even got married. The house we're renting out, the investments we're living off, the financial stability. We're not building it together right now. It's something I already built. I reminded her of that. Not to throw it in her face, but to explain why I see things the way I do. To me, this wasn't about controlling her or diminishing her. It was about maintaining the balance we both agreed to from the start. But now it feels like that balance is gone. She doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to handle the home the way she used to. And when I bring up alternatives, it turns into an argument about fairness. At this point, I don't even know if I'm being unreasonable or if I'm just holding on to an agreement that no longer works for her. All I know is this wasn't the arrangement we agreed to, and now I'm left wondering, am I wrong for expecting her to stick to it?